Hi, and welcome to the Men on the Path to Love podcast, The Hurt episode. I'm Bill Simpson, your host. I coach men who are struggling in relationship, how to communicate effectively, build trust, and deepen intimacy so that they can be the best version of themselves in relationship and live the life they love. So I was at a workshop a while back where a facilitator did a guided meditation. And during the meditation, she played a song by India Irie called He Heals Me. It's all about a man she meets that kind of checks all the boxes for her, how kind and respectful he is, what a good listener and communicator he is, and how grateful she is to have him in her life, right? Well, as I was listening, I got a little choked up inside and was like, now, this is how I want my wife to see me, knowing what she had been through in past relationships. And when it got to the chorus, which said, He heals me, He knows the real me, and He accepts me, and then she says, He never hurts me, He heals me. Then I was like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. She had me until that last verse. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a beautiful song, and it's like I said, it's how I would want my wife to think of me, except for the part that says, He never hurts me. Because the reality is, when you're in a relationship with someone, eventually you're going to hurt each other. Now, how I like to interpret the song is He never intends or means to hurt me. But that probably wouldn't have flowed right in the song or had the same romantic effect. So, like I said, in a relationship, you're going to hurt each other at some point. It's really hard to avoid. However, it should always be your intention to never hurt each other. Let that be your goal in every interaction, being mindful of the fact that you love this person and act accordingly. The problem is that we often have all these subconscious patterns running inside of us, and we do or say things that end up hurting our spouse or partner. Now, my wife and I are pretty well adept at communicating with each other in a loving way, and it's rare that we hurt each other. That has taken a lot of practice and years of not doing it so well in other relationships. Yet, guess what? We still say things that hurt each other. And when we do hurt each other, we let each other know in a compassionate way. When I realize that I've hurt her, I immediately try to humble myself and trust her experience of being hurt, even if I didn't mean to or didn't realize that I did hurt her. The part that takes a lot of practice is being mindful of what's going on with me when I'm about to say something hurtful. For example, I may be really annoyed because she keeps doing something I asked her not to do, like drying a shirt in the dryer when I had asked to hang dry it. Now, I could snap at her, call her names, and put her down, or I could recognize that I'm annoyed, take some deep breaths, and respond from a place of, I love this person, and I need to talk to her in a loving and respectful way, even if I'm annoyed, for the benefit of the long term of the relationship. And I could also think about how I would want her to respond to me if the tables were turned. Years ago, a couples therapist that my ex and I were seeing shared a tip that I found very helpful. She said, always remember to communicate with your partner or spouse in a way that says, I love you, I care about you, I respect you, and I want you to feel safe in this relationship. Now, you may not always feel this way in the moment, yet it's important that you act from that loving place. Well, this was very profound for me. Even when I want to yell and scream, call her names, and be aggressive, basically have a temper tantrum, that it's my responsibility to pause and check myself. I get to make the choice on how I want to respond. Now, when I'm mindful to the fact that I love you, I care about you, I respect you, and I want you to feel safe in this relationship, I can at least choose not to say or do anything hurtful, even if I don't know what to say in the moment. And then once I'm calm, or even better, when we're both calm, I can tell her what I felt and what I need in that situation and do it in a loving and respectful way. Now, you may be thinking, that's all well and good, Bill, but how realistic is it to interact that way? Well, I hear you. And we certainly don't have a whole lot of role models showing us how to interact this way. You know, the media, TV, movies, they hardly ever show this way of communicating, right? It's usually depicted as an aggressive argument with defensiveness or name-calling, put-downs, or a lot of snarky sarcasm. And communicating in a mindful and loving way is seen as being corny. And for many people, making themselves vulnerable and owning their own stuff, it's pretty scary, terrifying for some people. It feels much safer for them to get defensive or put the blame on someone else. Now, for me, I don't feel safe in a relationship when my partner always gets defensive and doesn't allow herself to be vulnerable. Remember, as I mentioned, that I want you to feel safe in the relationship. This is really important for everyone to understand. Women want to feel safe to be vulnerable with you. And men want to feel safe to be vulnerable too. We all do. Acting defensively or aggressively only pushes them away and makes it hard for them to feel safe and connected. Feeling safe in the relationship opens the door to a much deeper and intimate connection. So let's review the 4 things to be mindful of in any interaction with your spouse or partner. Is that 1, I love you. 2, I care about you. 3, I respect you. And 4, I want you to feel safe in this relationship. And even if I don't feel it in the moment, I need to act in a way that demonstrates those 4 things. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Men on the Path to Love podcast, the Hurt episode. I'm Bill Simpson, your host. Thank you so much for listening and taking the time to learn and grow to be a better you in relationship. And if you have any challenges going on in your relationship you need help with, or have any feedback or suggestions for the show, or want to get on my email list, please email me at bill@pathways2livingwell.com. That's bill@pathways2livingwell.com. Now, we just talked about being hurt in relationship. What about the ultimate hurt? The cheat. Does having an affair mean the relationship is over? Please join me for the next episode of the Men on the Path to Love podcast, the Getting Through the Cheat episode. And until then, keep your heart open and stay on the path to love.